Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about understanding students with ADHD. First off, let's start with a working definition before we move into anything else. You may find it interesting to know that underneath the IDEA Act that there is not a strict definition for ADHD. It actually falls underneath the section other health impairments. And what I would like to focus on, the key feature of this section is limited strength, vitality, or alertness that adversely affects the student's progress in school. It has to have a negative impact on the student for it to be considered a health impairment. Now, because the IDEA Act does not give a very specific definition, professionals often rely on the American Psychiatric Association's definition for ADHD, which they get from the DSM-5, and they focus on inattention and hyperactivity in multiple settings, not just in the classroom. To diagnose someone with ADHD, you have to notice a few things. It has to happen before they're 12. It also has to interfere with their typical activities in a given day. It also can't be explained by other disabilities, and it has to be in 2 or more settings. So not, again, as I mentioned before, not just in the classroom, but at home or in other community buildings. So ADHD has 3 subtypes: inattentive, hyperactive impulsive, and combined. Now, as you can see, combined is a feature of both. And I'm not going to read through all of these things that you will notice in each of these types, but just know that they have to exhibit 6 of these different characteristics to be diagnosed with ADHD. So inattentive, this is going to be the kid that may be overlooked because they're not as disruptive as the more impulsive, hyperactive child. They're kind of a slow mover, they may be a daydreamer, they might get bored, lack motivation. And again, they're really easy to overlook. So just a few of the things, they'll make careless mistakes in their homework, hard to follow instructions, little follow through, etc. Now, moving on to the hyperactive impulsive, this is going to be the kid that gets lots of attention from the teacher. They have a hard time sitting still. They're always on the go, constant movement. You might find they have a lot of outbursts in class because they just can't help themselves. They're also more about needing that instant gratification right now. For instance, if they finish a test, they're going to need to know right now how well they did. And then the combined subtype of ADHD is actually the most common, and they're going to have features of both, which I just covered the other 2, so I won't go into detail about that. So here on this slide here, you're going to see this little green piece of pie, and that signifies the number of students in your classroom that have ADHD. So it is thought, according to CHAD.org, that 1 in 10 students have ADHD and only 8.4% are diagnosed. Now, there is an increase in, there has been a significant increase in the number of students being diagnosed with ADHD, and this is a number of factors. Number 1, it doesn't necessarily mean that there are more students with ADHD, it just means that there's an increased recognition by doctors and an increased awareness in the classroom as well. Some environmental factors could be to blame. I mean, we are more exposed to blue light emitting devices than ever before. We also, poor nutrition can lead to ADHD, along with some prenatal smoking and alcohol, where mother has smoked or drank while she was pregnant. So we're going to talk about some characteristics of ADHD. So we need to remember that ADHD is a disorder of the brain's executive function. They're going to have working memory challenges, inhibition challenges, goal-directed challenges, as well as problem-solving challenges. Now, what working memory challenges looks like is when you're taking in new information and remembering what to do with that new information. It also you'll have a harder time filtering kind of some of those external stimuli so that you can stay focused. Inhibition challenges are going to be needing immediate results rather than working hard to get those long-term results. Goal directed, again, it's going to come back to kind of that I don't really know what to do next. They're going to have a really hard time planning what to do next as well. And then problem solving is just like it sounds. They're going to have a really hard time generating multiple options to a problem and then going forward and developing an action plan to solutions. So a lot of these come back down to kind of developing that action plan and the follow through. And I do want to point out that not all students will have problems with each of these challenges, but these are just some general overview of some of the ones that you will see as a problem. Now, academic achievement, again, this is a very general sense of those who have ADHD. This does not by in any means encompass all students. For instance, average intelligence, most of them will have an average intelligence, although you will find some that have a higher IQ that are in the gifted program and also have ADHD. Lower academic achievement, this does not mean that they cannot do the work or that they're not capable. It just means that they're having some of the challenges that we spoke about earlier. Could be something with the goal-directed challenges or working memory challenge, etc. They tend to have lower GPAs and higher grade retention rates. Half of children with ADHD do have learning disabilities, but I do want to point out that they come in a variety of strengths. In fact, in the textbook Exceptional Lives, Practice, Progress, and Dignity in Today's Schools, they had a student that was diagnosed with ADHD, but he was a very mechanically inclined student, a genius when it came to automobiles. So these students are often gifted in other ways, and by no means will they all fit into these little boxes that you have seen here, but these are just kind of some generalities to kind of give you a heads up of kind of maybe where to start looking and seeing if there's a kid that's struggling. Behaviorally, socially, and emotionally, children with ADHD are 11 times more likely to experience occupational defiance disorder, and or conduct disorder. They also find it difficult to regulate their emotions, whether they're negative emotions or positive emotions. They have a hard time making friends, so they'll only have a few, and they do experience more peer rejection. And again, I'm going to keep saying this, but not all of your children with ADHD will fit into these boxes. You may find that they have tons of friends, or that they do a great job with their emotions. Again, it's going to vary child to child. So what are some ways that you can help these children with ADHD? Effective class-wide interventions. So first off, I just want to keep some things in mind, because not all kids are going to qualify for services underneath the IDEA Act. They may only show some of the characteristics of a child with ADHD and therefore not qualify. So they're going to fall underneath the 504, and you'll want to make sure that you stay in compliance with that you are noticing their struggles and that you are modifying and accommodating them to the best of your ability. You also need to think about the medication they may be taking until they find the medication that is correct. They may be more fatigued or maybe more grouchy. Their mood might be all over the place. So this is something that you'll also want to keep in mind when you're teaching students with ADHD. And then again, accommodations that you do want to focus on are going to be attention, organization, time management, and motivation. So let's look at some of what those accommodations could look like. So for enhancing attention, some of the things that you could implement in your classroom that would benefit your students with ADHD or some of the characteristics of ADHD would be practicing meditation. This is going to help them stay focused in the moment and really start to rewire your brain. Now, this is not going to be an overnight, do it one time and everything's hunky-dory. This is going to be something that you're going to teach your students all school year. Another thing would be to encourage breaks. So especially during long homework assignments. And you'll just want to make sure that you give them a few minutes to just get up and kind of stretch their legs. Another great way to get their attention, to keep their attention, is to give them classroom jobs. This is going to help them get up and move and make them feel more involved in the classroom, so that it's going to keep their focus a little bit. And again, movement is key, so you'll want to add some instructional activities where you have movement involved, whether it's pairing up to role play and doing rotations and other things like that. So organization is another thing that we talked about that they may have a challenge with. So some ways to help them build this organization skill would be to have them do a homework to-do list before they leave the school. And then this would be something that they would have to get checked with you. So, and again, before they leave, they'd have to have a plan for their homework, because plans are something that they may struggle with. And then for bigger assignments, action plans are going to be something that you may have to guide them to figure out how they're going to get it done. Give them some guidance, give them, a little bit of nudging and prodding. But then once they have kind of figured out their action plan, you may have to really help them break it down into a step-by-step when and how they're going to get them done. So they're going to need a lot of guidance on that end. Another way to enhance organization is to get their parents involved. One thing is to encourage a place at home where they have an organized system for doing homework, whether it's just a little, they've got a cup of pencils and a certain place they put the paper, and there's the same area they go every day to get their homework done. And this is going to be essential to have the parents involved in this, because you can't go home with them. So again, they can also sign off on the homework. That will help them keep them organized as well. And then color coding was another suggestion for enhancing organization. And that would be like binders for, one color for one subject, one color for another subject, etc. So another strategy is enhanced time management. Again, communication with parents, I cannot stress this enough, is super important. I would also encourage these students to take short breaks after, let's say, they're going to work on their homework for 10 minutes and then give them a short break, and then let them work on it for another 10 minutes and then give them a short break. Encourage them to use timers, whether it's on a smartwatch or a smartphone or just a good old-fashioned stopwatch. And then make sure that you're getting rid of any extra fluffy stuff that doesn't have a whole lot to do with their assignment, because this could be very distracting for them as well. Just get straight to the business. And then enhancing motivation. Intrinsic motivation may be something that is a little bit harder. So you might want to pair them up with someone who is goal-oriented during transitional periods. You'll also want to divide the assignment up, especially large ones. Maybe if you've got a large writing assignment, the research may be something that you give them a graphic organizer for, and they complete that first before you have them do an outline. Also keep in mind that these students are going to need more frequent and immediate reinforcement. You may need to take the time to go through and teach them and show them the transitions. That way they know exactly what to expect, and they know that you know what to expect. And you want to make the rules fun for them, whether it's adding music or something else like that to get them excited about the rules. So that is all I have for you today about students with ADHD. I hope that you learned something new, and thank you for watching.